This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, tax, professional advice. We're not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast. This podcast is not intended to replace professional medical advice. The views expressed in this podcast may not be those of the host or the management. This podcast may contain adult themes, so parental discretion is advised. So welcome, Modern Titus to Women Family. Today we have an incredible guest, Irene Vaksberg. Yes, she's joining us. She's someone whose story is filled with resilience, faith, and determination to turn challenges into triumph. Irene is a true inspiration, having navigated life's toughest obstacles, rediscovered her faith, and embraced a life of strength and purpose. So get ready for an episode packed with wisdom, motivation, and the kind of inspiration that sticks with you long after the conversation ends. So welcome, Irene.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Lorna.
Yes,
So
yes, yes,
honored to be here with you. I appreciate what a beautiful welcome I got.
yes,
Thank
yes.
you so much.
Yes, it's a pleasure. In our preliminary discussion, you really motivated me, and and basically let me feel there was nothing impossible anymore. Nothing impossible. Your story is one of total, you know, possibilities. You know what I mean?
Thank you. And I hope that translates to the audience. Every time I do this, I hope they come out feeling full of hope and inspiration, motivation, and really truly loving themselves and believing in
Yes.
themselves, even more important.
There you go. There you go. So can you describe a moment of transformation that changed the course of your life? I remember you told me about your accidents.
Sure. So two big moments of my life that took me on a journey that I never expected. And both of them were tragic, but became powerful. What I thought was the end of me became a mission, purpose, and passion, and the growth, right? So what I've learned, so I was in the first car accident when I was 23 years old. A drunk driver literally smashed into the car, smushed it together. They had to cut me with the jaws of life. My first husband was sitting, he was driving, and my nine-month baby was sitting in the back of the car, in the back seat. So
Yes, yes.
when I shared that story, from the beginning, how my journey evolved to the second correction, it's pretty powerful, because a couple of days prior to, with my husband, I had a fight about tinting the windows, but God made that happen, even though I wasn't happy for it, but there was a purpose for it I didn't know. So sometimes what we're fighting about is a gift. And the gift was that the first car accident was the car smooshed and then to cut
Right.
doors of life, that window, the glass didn't shatter sharply onto my daughter, but fell like a blanket over her.
Right. Because of the coating of the, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And after I was finished with you talking, it was such a part, because I haven't shared that story in such a long time. That stood out to me, how God protects us, even when we fight it, like, right? Like, what is the big deal? But like, I was like, I didn't like it. So that was one of the big moments. And then, of course, my children's birth was powerful. And the second car accident, it was the continuation of the first one, was again a very powerful moment, because in my first car accident, I found God. I found faith. That car accident was incredible, powerful, because I died, went up, saw heaven, saw God, saw Jesus. That's what came to me. And I'm Jewish. So it was a very interesting journey for me, because I didn't grow up with it. I didn't grow up with any sort of religion, but I'm Jewish person, and I knew that, and I embraced it as a as who I am, right? Maybe not what I am. So to have that experience, and
Right.
holy experience, that he chose me to come speak to me, and told me, you're going to be okay, you can't stay here, you need to go, learn, you need to go teach, you need to go inspire, you need to be the light. I mean, I was like, I'm broken, I have a baby, I'm about to get a divorce, what do you want me to do? I just want to stay here with you. So I came back, obviously I'm here, and the journey of discovery of what religion means, what God means, what faith means, what believing in myself is. And so it was very powerful. And the journey continues. And then my second car accident was a reminder of that faith and the strength and that God walks with us, even though when we don't feel them, we don't see him, we don't honor him, he honors us.
Right. Would you share with our listeners what your life was before? Because I remember in our preliminary conversation, you said you had a business and was thriving, and what was the impact of the accident?
Okay, so the first car accident, I was just beginning my journey of building a beautiful career of hairdresser. My dream was to own a hair salon and have a community. So I did it. I built it in between divorces, marriages, children, and all kinds of unorganized or organized chaos, as I like to say. So yeah, I built a successful business. I worked in one of the top Beverly Hills supply houses, but they had adjacent hair salon. It was incredible. I've owned my own business. I had 9 people working for me. And when the second car accident happened, I was turning 43 years old. I was already in a really good place of dealing with divorces. My child, the oldest child, had a lot of mental and emotional issues, and the struggle with that. She made me a grandma there at 40 years old. I took care of that child. So things were going really great. I was ready to fall in love, live life, go travel, and the second car accident happened, and I lost everything. I lost the 6-figure business that I built it as a single mother. Want to give shout out to the single mothers. They're doing it, trying to do it, just beginning to do it. I'm with fathers too. You're amazing. And I lost the 6-figure business. It was very difficult for me. I lost the community that I relied on. I lost friendships that I thought were truly friendships. I couldn't travel. The chronic pain that I lived was horrific. I need epidurals, cortisone shots, and hip injections. Had a bag full of medicine. And it was the most darkest places I've ever been. And I've been in some dark places.
So how did you find the strength to keep going when, everything around you was like totally impossible? You found yourself in an impossible situation, impossible pain that nobody seems to be able to find a solution. How did you find the strength to keep going with all of that happening around you?
So, I prayed, even though I didn't believe in, and I have some really amazing clients that were part of my life, is still were there, and they would call me and say, Irene, remember what you told us? Just a moment. Giving up is not an option. Keep going. So they turned my words on me, and I had to remember that. And I tried to focus on that glass overflowing. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. And through the 6 years of the struggle, of that chronic pain, the doctors not paying attention to me, or not believing me, or understanding what I'm going through, their tests, whatever, they have a very small window what they can work with. I did give up. I stopped praying. I was so angry with God, and going through the journey, what I realized now, after healing mentally, emotionally, is that I surrendered to the higher power, because I didn't pray. I prayed it that I didn't believe in, but I still prayed, right? Like I still, in that difficult moment, it's so hard to explain. I gave up, but I still had hope.
Well, sometimes it's in your brokenness, your total. Sometimes when there's nothing and nobody else you can depend on, you just have to leave it at the foot of the cross, So
exactly.
Sometimes that's where you find God, in your brokenness.
And then that's found God in my broken is because even though like I know he's there, but I didn't feel them. I prayed for 6 years and I'm like, why can't you hear me? You've always came to me in my rescue. But I think I had to rescue myself. Like I had to really rescue myself. And what I've learned that we pray superficially. That was the biggest aha moment for me while I shared my story for the past 7 years, is that I prayed superficially. I didn't pray with the full heart, soul meaning of the power of the prayer, right? And the moment that change is that I prayed to die, and I
Oh,
prayed
wow.
to go.
Speak on that a little bit more for our listeners, because
Sure.
that's a very powerful statement there.
So 7 years ago, I decided I can't be in this broken body anymore. And that happened. And again, that happened when doctors told me there's nothing left for me. They cannot do anything for me. So I also gave my mindset to another person that only knows what they know, right? And we taught to trust the doctors, but doctors are human, right? They only can do what they can do. And I released my power to them because that's what we were taught. So when they told me I'm going to be in a wheelchair, when they told me that I will not be able to function properly, but I probably won't be able to work, and the little business that I had will be gone, and that I wanted to love. I wanted to have a boyfriend, but I didn't even love myself. And I was like, I don't want my daughter to take care of me. She's already been doing. What kind of life will be for my daughter? Like I would be a burden to her, and I didn't want to be a burden to her. So I said,
Right.
die. It still gets me so emotionally. She'll cry and she'll go on, but she sees me. And I am faking it because I'm putting a smile on her, but she knows that I am in pain because I can't do anything. I'm constantly saying no and no and no, but I can't do it physically or I cannot do it financially. So I said, I'm done. And I said, God, I'm done. I can't be in this broken body. I don't love myself. Like who's going to love me? Like I didn't love myself in this feeling. I actually felt useless. I felt so unproductive. I felt like, what benefit am I bringing to this world? So I prayed to go. But God had another, another.
This is what this is what you call a but God moment. But God.
Yeah. And as I prayed and I had all my meds in front of me and a bottle of tequila and vodka, and I'm like, what combination of pills will gonna make this fast? Because I just couldn't. I love to salsa dance. I like to hike. I love to travel. I'm the life of the party, and I'm like broken. I felt so broken.
Right. So how did this past struggle prepare you for the person you are now today? How does this struggle prepare you for the journey that you're now on? How did it prepare you? All the struggles and heartache and pain that you went through. How did that? Yeah.
Absolutely. So it gave me strength. It gave me wisdom. It restored the power of prayer. It taught me that I have to pray with intention and faith and hope, and really be incredibly specific of what I desire, not superficially. And it also showed me that I'm resilient, that even in my darkest moment, right, I still tried to hold on to hope, that, the moment doesn't define us, right? It becomes our superpower. And the worst what happened to me, it wasn't the end, it was just the beginning.
Would you say that was your unexpected blessing out of all the pain and suffering that you went through? You think that's
Absolutely. When I realized and the healing began and my pain subside, and I'm a believer that everything happens for a reason, right? That's how I believe, that everything happens for a reason. That car accident was my cocoon that I was suffocating in, and now I'm a butterfly, but I had to go through that, cocoon. Butterflies comes out of a, caterpillar, right? It goes into this cocoon in the darkness, and then it opens up into the light. It becomes this beautiful, magnificent creature. That's how I feel. I became that. I let go. I have healed trauma and disappointment from years and years that accumulated, and that car accident happened. That was the pivotal moment, like, jumping off the cliff.
Yeah, you know what on my journey, what I find that things that bring us heartache, things that bring us pain, things that you wonder, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why have you left me? Those are the things that we can use to speak to other persons who are having this similar situation, that they can say, that you can say, I've walked in your shoes.
Oh,
I know the pinch. I feel the pinch. I know what it is to have that pain that nobody doesn't believe that you're having any pain. It's all in your mind, you know? You know what it is. So you can speak to someone and at the level, that they're at, because you've been there. So there's always a reason why we go through all of this, that we
absolutely.
can help
And
each
it
other.
brings me back to the first car accident. That's where the connection connected to me. He said to me, remember what I said in the beginning? He told me, go learn, go teach, and you're going to bring people to the light. And I didn't make any sense. I was like, where am I going? Who am I going
Right.
to find? But the second car accident solidified all of it. I understood that I had to go through the difficult moment now to help people. And I can tell you for a fact, I said, why me? For the first time in 43 years, I said, why me? My whole journey prior to the car accident, I always said, why not me? I am happy to burden the burden, carry it, because I feel God trusts me with the pain and He knows I can handle it. I don't want anybody else suffering. And so to come full circle, understanding when I found my miracle, when God did send it to me that I prayed for, I didn't believe in it. I prayed, I did not believe in it, but I was determined to pray with conviction. And I promised Him, and I said, if you deliver this magic that I don't believe in, if you deliver this gift, I will promise I will share that story that I didn't believe in you, but you still believe in me. I didn't believe in power of prayer or the miracles that you could deliver. I doubted you, but you still gave it to me. So, it's a spiritual journey, and it's a spiritual
Absolutely.
relationship that I have with my own personal God. And people say, who's your God? And it's so hard to explain. It's like, I still feel from that first car accident. Jesus walks with me every day. I have a very special, I love, this Jewish little woman has a really special relationship with Jesus.
There you go. There you go. So someone, how can someone who's going through the pain and things that you are experiencing, how can your experience help them? What would you say to somebody who's going through the same sort of situation that you had gone through? What would you say to them?
I would say to them, don't forget to breathe, be gentle with yourself, baby steps, one moment at a time. Trust the process, trust the journey, and stay in the power of faith. And when those difficult moments occur, when you're like, why me? Go deep inside of you. You know the answer for it. The power is within yourself. And that's what I've learned. Just believe in yourself. Don't ever give up of looking for that miracle. And yes, doctors do tell us we can help you anymore, but that does not mean you cannot help yourself. And that's what I had to become, my own research guru.
Right, right, right. So,
I'm sorry, just one more thing. The most important thing I just want to say, please be gentle with yourself. Give yourself grace.
hey, that's so true. I think as you were alluding to when you were talking about your experience, that you actually was beating up yourself. You didn't want to be a burden to anybody. You didn't want your daughter to be taking on this role at such a young age. What's gonna happen to her, what kind of life she's gonna have. So I just said, sometimes we just have to start with ourselves. And another point also is that how can we love somebody else if we don't love ourselves? It has to start with us.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. So based on your experience, how would you define resilience and how can people cultivate it based on your experience? Resilience, you know,
Resilience to me is showing up in your authentic self.
right. Oh,
Don't
that's
worry.
beautiful.
Thank you. Don't worry about other people because they're gonna talk no matter what. And
Yeah.
for me, it's so important because people made fun of my accent. I was bullied. People told me that I could never be successful business person because of my accent, that people can understand me. I have a too difficult name. And I said that no, you can't, became my resilience. I said, I'm going to prove you wrong. I have faith in myself. I believe in myself. So make sure that you truly, truly like love yourself and don't try to fit into anybody's box. Be in your own out of box.
There you go. Be your authentic self.
Yeah.
And you know, it's interesting because with the advent of Facebook and all these other social media, we see all these different people and you're looking at them and you're saying to yourself, oh, they're succeeding, I'm not succeeding. We try to use them as a yardstick and 9 out of 10 cases it's just a farce. That's not really what's going on in their life. Sometimes you're better off than them.
Agree. But they feel so confident in themselves and they do it. So stop being perfect. Perfection is procrastination. Be who you are. And I always talk about this. Yes, you're waiting for that 5 pounds less, or you're waiting for your hair to grow. It doesn't matter. Show up because we have enough of those beautiful, and listen, there's a place for everything. But what I'm trying to say is that we have enough of the polished examples. Be unpolished example, right? Be who you are. You will create that following. You will create the audience. People will follow you. People will join you. People will support you. Just show up authentically with that messy hair. And if you're a mom and have slap on your food from the baby, show up and say, Cargate, take me away. Remember that commercial?
There you go.
Do it. Just how you are in present right now. Do it.
How have you turned this pain into purpose? How have you turned your pain, all that pain that you went through, how have you turned that into your purpose?
So when I prayed and God decided, well, even before that, right? In my first 6 years of struggle, I shared the journey openly that I feel sad, I feel lonely, I'm depressed, and I gave hope to others to have safe space to feel the same way because chronic pain doesn't affect only me. It affects everyone around you. Husband, boyfriends, moms, dad, you hide, you put a smiley face and you pretend living in toxic happiness. So I was talking how I was feeling, how I could not be fake, right? So right there, that was like the beginning of it. And now I share my story, right, consistently to give hope to others. And that is my inspiration. And I encourage others to share their story because we need to hear from many different voices, right? Chronic pain is very difficult. So I didn't want to do it for myself in the beginning. I did it for others to create a community. And then it turned in my own healing.
So what does success mean to you now compared to when you started your journey? What does success mean to you now?
So success always meant for me, no matter where I am, my salon, what I'm doing now is helping others. I don't wake up for dollar signs. I don't. That money doesn't get me out of bed. Never did. For me, it's to be a helping hand, a shoulder to cry on, a support system. That is success. If I can help another person to say, okay, Irene, you gave me a little hope, I will take that first step. I will stop doubting myself. That is success to me, to change someone's life every day, just to give them a little bit nudge to keep going.
So would it be fair to say that is the message you want to share with people everywhere you go?
Everywhere you go. that is my success, to make sure for people to hear that they're good enough, right? Like, you know, they can do it. The power is with themselves, and that's, for me, is success, especially for people that comes from other countries, right, and live in the United States and speak funny, maybe look different, and they don't fit into any categories. They're their unique self. You got it. Go for it. Do it. Go for it. Speak with your beautiful accent. And I'll tell you why I'm so passionate about it, and I want to inspire that. Is I took a class, how to speak, you know, communication, and this beautiful man teacher said to me, Irene, you are a gift. Like, what do you mean? She said, your accent makes you special. People have to listen to you more carefully and pay attention. You stand out. You don't blend in. So if I can give that to you with all my bilingual, triangle, beautiful souls, you got it. You're a gift.
Yeah, I know. When I came here also, person was saying I should do what you call an accent reduction class.
Yes.
And I'm like,
no.
But I'm like, no, I don't think so. I speak English. Already.
And somebody told me the same thing. I said, but you understood me, right?
Exactly my point. The fact that I have a Caribbean accent, you know, that's just me.
I love it. It's you.
I'm spicy. What can I say?
I love it. I'm right with you. Spicy it is. Let's go. Everybody needs a little spice in their life.
There you go. There you go.
I'm the spicy one. Everybody needs. Why are you eating bland food?
There you go. That's what I say.
I love it.
So, how can people support their loved ones who are going through the situation?
Kindness, patience. Be kind. Be gentle. You don't have to speak. Some people didn't know what you said to me. Just listen. Give people a safe space to say what they feel. And if you make plans with someone and they cancel, don't be mad, because it's very difficult. And if they do say yes and they need to leave early, also be gentle. They're doing best they could. They're trying to live the life to the fullest where they are in that moment, and that's a lot of pain.
Yeah. So what is one of the most powerful takeaways you want persons here listening to the audience listening to this podcast to take away? What is the most powerful, one of the most powerful takeaways that you want listeners to remember after hearing this podcast with your stories and the different things that you went through? What's the powerful takeaway you want?
I want you to know that you are unstoppable, that your difficult moment doesn't define you. It becomes your superpower. You can do anything you desire, but you have to trust yourself in the process of your journey. You can do it. It's not where you begin, it's where you end. And wherever you are right now, lean into that. If you enjoy, be more joyful and share that with the world. But if you are in pain, struggling, don't avoid it. Lean into it. This lesson's there for you. And on the other side is your incredible, beautiful life that you're dreaming about. You got this. You got it. It's all within yourself. Believe in it. Trust it.
All right. So, Irene, we could go on for hours, but so how can listeners get in touch with you? Tell us about, if you have any social media platforms that they can, subscribe to, all of that.
Absolutely. I am everywhere. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. What else? I am on Lemon 8. I am on what is they called? Threads, and I am on Stock. I can't pronounce it. Stock.
Okay. All right. Okay. What you can do is send me
Stockbot.
the links after this. Send the links, and I will put them in the narrative, because yeah.
But Facebook, Instagram is the easiest. That's where my TikTok is my most social. That's where I connect the most. Yes, I would love to connect. I mean, also YouTube. I also have a YouTube
Your
channel.
YouTube channel. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but
So,
Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok is the fastest way.
okay. So before we leave, any nuggets, any words of wisdom, anything you want to leave with our podcasters today?
Absolutely, shine bright and don't dim your own light.
All right. There you go, folks. You hear that? Shine bright and don't dim your light. So thank you, Irene, for such a action pack. I'm gonna say action pack
Thank you.
podcast with so many different wisdom and motivation and all of that. So we thank you so much for joining us and just for being just an awesome guest.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I'm so honored that you gave me space and your platform to share my story.
The pleasure was all mine.